This is the Zuru Robo Alive Robot Shark, and it's advertised to look, feel, and swim like a real shark. This toy obviously looks like a real shark, but does it actually swim like a real shark? Time for a game of Robot Shark versus Real Shark. It looks like it's breaking out of its box, which is super cool. It's got like a little crack in it. All right, time to break you out. What makes them so hard to get into? For free! Cool. Batteries. Hey. Where's the on switch? Oh. It's kind of heavy. I wonder if it floats. Let's try it out. Hey! It turns on automatically in water. That is so cool. I wonder how that works. So we figured our shark mate needed a bit more space to spread his fins, so we popped him in the bath, and he really does kind of swim like a real shark. So I want to know if he is anything like a real shark. But first, time for some cool shark facts. Oh, can someone get me a towel? Sharks are heavy. Great whites like Bruce over here can weigh up to 1,000 kilos, which is about the weight of these various small cars, or 4,000 Furbies with their batteries running out. So if sharks are so heavy, why don't they just sink? Sharks remain buoyant thanks to an internal oil sac, which is filled with a substance called squalene. It's like a built-in floaty, but instead of a pool noodle, it's made of shark oil. And because squalene is oily and oil is less dense than water, it means that sharks remain neutrally buoyant. That just means that they don't float to the top, and they also don't sink down to the bottom. But this isn't the only thing keeping sharks afloat. Some sharks also rely on constant forward movement, similar to how the wings of a plane generate lift in the air. The shape of a shark's fin do the same thing, but in water. Thankfully, not in the air. So real sharks have an oil sac to keep them buoyant, and they also need to just keep swimming. Let's see if this toy works in a similar way. Time to pull it apart. Cool. Oops. Cool. Okay. Oh! Oh, look. It's like jaw now instead of jaws. Ready? Robot shark, do 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 do. Robot shark, do 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 do. Robot shark. I'm sorry. All right, let's see what's inside. I found inside this shark a closed container, and it's definitely filled with air. So that would be keeping it buoyant. So in a real shark, it's got oil, but that's already one similarity between our robot shark and our real shark. So let's have a look at this bit. There's a lot going on here, but I can see that there's a motor here, and it's connected to a propeller. But what's kind of confusing is that the propeller is facing downward, which I wouldn't have guessed. I thought it should be facing backwards to move it forward. I'm gonna test that out actually. Let's see what it does in the water. So I want to see the flow of the liquid through this toy using a little bit of food dye. And by a little bit, I mean I'm now turning into a Smurf. So I'm gonna add that to the propeller and see if we can see what direction it's flowing. Let's try it out. Hey, there we go. So it is moving backwards. So it's basically this little scoop here, which is forcing the liquid backwards. Pretty neat. But what we don't know is if this toy requires forward motion to stay afloat. We're gonna have to test that out. I obviously want to test out if it still floats when it's not working, but as we worked out at the beginning, this toy turns on automatically in water. How am I gonna test it in water without it turning on? I could take out the batteries, but that would affect the weight of it, which wouldn't be a fair test. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative with this. The reason that this toy turns on automatically in water is actually super clever. It's got these two little metal contacts here. And because water conducts electricity when it goes in, that closes the gap between those two contacts and the current can flow. You can actually do that just by touching it as well, because we conduct electricity as well. So if I just touch those two, the toy turns on. All right, I've got a bit of a circuit going on here. So I've got a battery which is connected to a light, which is going into a glass of water. And if I close that circuit, connect the battery to the water, it should turn the light on, right? But it doesn't. And that's because this glass of water is not regular tap water. It's demineralized water. We should assume that all water always conducts electricity, but this stuff doesn't. And that's because it's the minerals within water that allows it to conduct electricity. So if we add salt into our demineralized water, we should see the current starts to flow and our light will turn on. So I think I've got to run my little shark friend a special kind of bath. All right, so we've got our demineralized water bath here, and I want to see if this still floats. Let's try it out. That's really interesting. So it still floats even without forward momentum. So it really is just this section here that has that container of air, which is allowing it to remain floating. But I reckon I can make it a bit more interesting. All right, let's chuck some salt in. Hey, we've got power. Nice. So putting the minerals back into this demineralized water has allowed the circuit to close, and our shark is moving around. He's back and he's salty, just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water. So how did we go in our robot shark versus real shark? Well, it kind of moves like a real shark, which is almost where the similarities kind of end. It's no hunting and killing machine, but still a super fun toy, and I think I'm gonna go and scare some of my mates in the pool with it. Let's go. Bye.